Vince McMahon is currently being sued for sexual abuse and trafficking in lawsuit by his former employee. This guy.
Women, huh?
This is the guy. I could have chose worse clips, but I chose not to because I'd rather not get demonetized because this guy likes to copyright claim anything with WWE on it. Even though he isn't like Triple H running the company or some shit. Anyway, so the nitty gritty. A former employee of WWE sued Vince McMahon alleging he abused and sexually exploited her when he was the CEO of the company. McMahon allegedly trafficked her to other men as a pawn to secure talent deals. So essentially he was using her as like bargaining chips, which is really bad. This is all allegations, by the way. None of this is proven yet. Don't kill me in the comments for telling you what's in the news. Janel Grant, she filed a lawsuit in court in Connecticut, alleges he violated the Trafficking Victims Protection Act and includes claims of civil battery and intentional infliction of emotional distress in relation to years-long sexual and emotional abuse she endured as an employee. The lawsuit seeks unspecified monetary damages as well as a declaratory judgment that a non-disclosure agreement Grant signed while she was a WWE employee is void and unenforceable and does not bar. So he actually had her file an NDA. I don't think it works like that. I really don't. I don't know, maybe it does. I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like signing an NDA and then doing unspeakable things and working around that NDA would still be illegal. Like, you sign an NDA and kill somebody, you're going to jail. He stepped down as the CEO last year due to an investigation, the payments to women who accused him of conduct. McMahon made payments of $20 million. Yeah, like, this is a constant thing with him. And they're saying here that he stepped down when he had other investigations last year. Like, in my opinion, he's an entertaining person, but I do not put it past him to be a piece of shit. After all the shit that's come out from him, I'm not surprised. He returned to the company as the chairman. They merged with UFC to form TKO. McMahon sold about $670 worth of TKO stock. So he did like a legal pump and dump. McMahon and Laurinaitis on using funding, both engaged in sexual assault and trafficking of Grant. Wait, McMahon and Laurinaitis, who's that? This guy? Who the hell is this guy? Johnny Ace? I might be too young for this. So this guy is a piece of shit. Anyways, on WWE property and using WWE funding, both engaged in sexual assault and trafficking of Grant, both for their own pleasure and as a pawn to secure talent deals. McMahon repeatedly used sex toys named after other WWE employees, wrestlers, and performers to groom her for trafficking to those same people. That's extremely specific. He's such a jerk off. In addition, according to the legal complaint, McMahon would shower Mrs. Grant with gifts and empty work promotions, while at the same time threatening her livelihood and her reputation so she wouldn't succumb to his increasingly depraved sexual demands, including disseminating pornography of Mrs. Grant to thousands and engaging into sex acts with other WWE employees, some of whom were strangers. According to the lawsuit, after McMahon's wife learned of this relationship, Grant was abruptly pressured to resign, sign an NDA before a major financial deadline for the organization. Under the guise McMahon would protect her financially and reputationally and pay her $3 million. However, Mr. McMahon later refused to make payments, falsely claiming she had leaked information to the press, according to the suit. McMahon paid Grant $1 million in February, but McMahon failed to make any further payments. So this was something he seemed to have already gotten justice for, or he already like tried to handle, and he just chose not to pay it because he's a piece of shit. I mean, it's better it happens this way because it exposes him more, but I mean, you can't cancel a guy who's already almost dead. Like, the dude's like walking on the grave right now. You should get Undertaker just to tombstone him in, bring him back from retirement, just fuck him up. Well, the thing is too about the WWE is like all the wrestlers, like they know their boss is kind of a jerk off, and they still stand by him. Like John Cena's like, I love WWE, that's my guy, he got me where I am, and The Rock is like, yeah, you know, he's great, you know. Ugh. Just sell your soul for Hollywood, right? According to the lawsuit, she and McMahon lived in the same apartment. Wait, he's a multimillionaire and he has an apartment building In June of that year, after succumbing to the pressure for a physical relationship, Mrs. Grant was slotted into an entry-level position as an admin coordinator, a position McMahon created for her. McMahon transferred Grant to the talent relations department, reporting to that fucking weirdo we saw the picture of. While McMahon was the CEO of WWE and Grant employed as the entry-level coordinator, McMahon recruited individuals to have relations with her and or the two of them. Wait, so they're having sex with Mr. McMahon and her? The two of them directed Mrs. Grant to visit defendant Laura prior to the start of the workdays for sexual encounters, and expected and directed Mrs. Grant to engage in sexual activity at the WWE headquarters even during working hours. Citing an example of McMahon's extreme depravity, on May 9, 2020, he defecated on Miss Grant. Hold on. See, this... I'm going to read this. Citing an example of Mr. McMahon's extreme depravity, on May 9, 2020, he defecated on her during a threesome and then commanded her to continue pleasuring his friend with feces in her hair and running down her back. While he went to the bathroom to shower off. What? Like, for some reason, I've noticed, like, rich people have the weirdest kinks. Like, your kink is the shit, like... Anyway. In July 2021, McMahon and Laurinaitis assaulted Mrs. Grant inside his office. Behind a locked door, the two men cornered her and pulled her in between them forcibly and ultimately putting her on top of a table. She begged them to stop, but they forced, each taking turn while saying no means. Today's complaint seeks to hold accountable the executives who assaulted and trafficked her, as well as the organization that facilitated her, turned a blind eye to the abuse and swept it under the rug. She is an incredibly private and courageous person who has suffered deeply at the hands of McMahon and Dickhead. Mrs. Grant hopes that her lawsuit will prevent other women from being victimized. I mean, yeah, ideally, but you didn't, like, do a lawsuit until he stopped paying you. Like, that. Don't get me wrong. Everything that they did, allegedly, if true, is extremely fucked up. Just straight fucked up. And they deserve, in my opinion, the death sentence. If you're a forcist, a pedo, death sentence. I'm sorry. It's just the way, that's just the way I think. There's no other option. You're a degenerate and you don't deserve to be in society. But I don't think suing is enough. I think he needs to go to jail. I don't even know what to say. This dude's a real piece of shit. It's disgusting. Anyways, just to let you guys know what's going on. That's what's going on with Vince McMahon. Yeah, see ya.